Morning all, how are you? Good. Coming to talk to you about my experiences with cruising. So a little bit about myself. We'll go through onto who I am. I've got a spinal cord injury, C4, C5, almost 25 years ago. I'd done a little bit of travel with family and through school and things like that. Been to Ezra, through Adelaide, been to Fiji, and skied once. Then I had my accident on the last day of grade 12. And when I was in hospital and doing rehab, my physio at the time, he was working with the Paralympian guys with wheelchair rugby, and said to me, if you want to go anywhere, go where the Olympics are gone, because you're always going to have the Paralympics, and they'll always be accessible. There'll be accessible options around. And then Sporting Wheelies came in one day and they were talking about snow skiing, how they do a yearly ski trip down, and showed a picture of someone sit skiing, and I thought, well, you got me hooked already. So I left in the November, and then in that August I was on the ski trip 6 months after I left hospital. So that's where I started to get back into traveling and looking at what I wanted to do, and then eventually got to working, which I've been doing for the last 17 years, and volunteering and things like that. So life goes on. Done ski trips, done overseas travel, domestic travel, done some cruising from Australia, and also from overseas, which I'll talk to you about now. I'll go over. So, planning for a cruise. Ask questions and do your research. As Fiona has said, you need to do your research and look into it. I've always booked my own cruises, and also if I've gone through a travel agent, I've gone, this is what I want to do, this is the room that I need to look into, because I know I have to travel with a hoist and a carer or someone with me, all the equipment that you need to take with you, making sure from under bed clearances to how high the bed is. I think I've jumped a slide ahead of time. Asking your questions. So in the back of a travel brochure, right, this is Princess Cruises and Royal Caribbean, they actually have information about the staterooms that you can go to. So you've got internal cabins, you've got external cabins with balconies or a suite room and things like that. So that's what you want to look for. Try and find, do your own research, look into it, and then you can go to the cruise companies and ask them the questions of what you want to find out. How big are the rooms? I might go over. Which ports are accessible? Are they ferry? Are you tendered in, or are you docked? So a lot of them are 7-night cruises. Can be 5-night, can be 14 nights. It really depends. So for me, I don't mind if they're all tendered or whether they're docked. So on a docked one, the cruise ship will dock in, and you can get off the cruise ship via the ramp, and then you can get off and explore the town for the day. If they're tendered, they will anchor outside from town, and then they use the lifeboats to ferry you in and out. And for me, which is that top one, that was in 2004, my first cruise I did out of Sydney with P&O. They actually lent me a manual chair. I was able to hop in it, and they carried me down the side of the stairs on this boat to a little pontoon, probably no bigger than where Fiona is to me, and then put me on the tender boat with no life jacket. I was like, oh well, sink or swim, I'll be shark bait soon. So it was sort of like, I got off, I got to get onto the island, I got to look around, play in the sand, and there is a photo later on that you'll see. I was with the local kids in one of the islands in the Pacific, so that was really cool. So they don't let you do that anymore, but you got to take it while you can. So it was good fun. And then this one here is in Alaska. I actually went up from Seattle on the Princess Cruises. So yeah, and that was docked. And when they're not docked, I actually just stay on the boat, which is great because whoever you're with, or they can go off and do their own activities. The staff on board are fantastic. They'll go out of your way to get you a drink. You give them your cruise card, you can't get back with a cocktail or lunches. They'll cut your food up for you, and you can just people watch, sit on the up on the deck and just check it all out. I'll go through. So questions to ask. What is the size of the room? So internal cabins, they're like a little jail cell. They're very small, there's no windows. Has anyone done cruising?
Mm-hmm.
And did you enjoy it?
Yes.
Yeah, they're great. They're easy. You don't have to unpack. You get off. You embark, disembark, and everything's sorted for you. So I was actually lucky enough to stay in a suite room. So as you can see, got a larger bathroom, bigger room to get around, which is fantastic because I use a hoist and a shower chair. You can put a hoist underneath. Some people I have talked to actually hire a bed because they have the height adjustability. So these guys don't have height adjustable beds, and they've actually gone and talked to the cruise company and been able to hire or take their own bed onto the ship. But you need pre-warning. They need to do electrical checks and make sure that it's going to fit on. I take a bubble mattress with me, and I need to make sure the power points are, if it's a US boat, you need the US adapter, and then make sure that will still pump up your bed. And I found out the hard way that it wouldn't work, and we're an hour into the cruise and couldn't turn back. So the local electrician on board made a 5-meter extension cord, which I keep in my suitcase now. So if I go away, I've got a US, I've got a European adapter and an Aussie adapter. So you can leave them in your suitcase. If you turn up somewhere, you can try and get around. If not, get an electrician to make something up for you. Yeah, so what to do, activities at each port. So the top one, that's in the Caribbean. We had a massive pool party because I couldn't get to any of the daily activities because the chartered activities weren't accessible. And if they were accessible, the US wouldn't lift me in and out of the little tram that I wanted to go on to do a tour of the town. So we decided to go to a pool party and drink all day and have a bit of fun and live it up in Caribbean. The bottom left one is down in Vanuatu. So I made my own adventure. I couldn't get onto an accessible bus, so I just made my own time. There's a video we'll show of that later on. And then this one here on the little tram, they actually lifted me in and out, and I was sat on there with my little restrainer and held on for dear life and went around Vanuatu and enjoyed that really well. So you just got to make your own activities if you can't do it through the cruise company. Give them time. They can look up activities. If you go onto the cruise company website, you can actually see all the different offers that they do, from adventurous down to just walking tours and those sorts of things. So just give them a heads up. What activities do I need to pre-book? Well, the one on the left, I was in Alaska and there was a gondola, and we didn't need to pre-book. They said you can just go and do it yourself. So off I went. It was raining, hopped on and up to the top of the mountain we went and had coffee and stuff like that. This one's a helicopter ride. I didn't need to I said, can you take someone with a disability? And they said yes. So I booked it before they could hang up the phone. I was like, I'm on. And this guy actually, wasn't from a cruise. It was just from a trip to New York just recently. He actually just picked me up out of my wheelchair. Quite literally picked me up and threw me in. So I was like, I'm going. I'm taking it on, put my GoPro on my head, and off I went. So it was fantastic. So you just got to go on a whim. If you can take the opportunity and they say yes, book it and go and deal with it at the other end. Things to remember. You can take your medical equipment. You can take as much as you like onto a cruise ship because it's a floating hotel. And if you're traveling from Brisbane and you're going out from dockside there, load up the maxi, hop in and take it all fully assembled. You don't need to pull it apart. Just make sure you label what is breakable. If it's something that's going to be breakable, take it with you. I've got a picture over here we can have a look at after how I label my power chair, how I need it to be pushed if I'm not in it. I leave that on my chair. Little things we can have a chat after. And that's my hoist. So when you do travel and you need to have it folded up, I actually got a travel bag which you can see, and I'll hook onto the back of my chair and I can drag it through the airport with my 6 other bits of luggage that I have to carry around. And just give plenty of notice and chat to the booking agency or to Fiona or whoever you're dealing with, or through the cruise company directly, and get email proof. If you talk to them via email, keep that on you, and when you check into the cruise line, you have documentation of, yes, I have an accessible room, I have this, and then when you get there and it's not the way you need it, you say to them, this is what I booked, how can you fix it for me? And they'll go out of their way to assist you to get you on there, because they've got you for 7 nights or 10 nights or whatever you're doing. Yeah. Travel insurance is highly recommended. Always take that with you. Let them know your disability, and yes, you may have to pay a premium, but you will be covered to an extent. Everyone's injury is different, but I always take insurance, and it may cost a little bit more, but at least you know you're covered. Take extra medication. Take a letter from your doctor. Incontinence products, I always plan for another week or 2 in case something happens. If I get injured or unwell, the cruise ship takes a few days longer to come back, because how are you going to get medication or drainage bags and those things to you? So you need to keep that in mind. You might need an extra bag, but it's well worth it in the end. Just prepare for the worst and expect the best. And it can cover these different options. Yeah. And things to remember, enjoy yourself, have fun. That's what you're going away for, and enjoy it. That picture on the left, I saw the movie Me Before You. I'm not sure if anyone has seen that one. He's a high-level quadriplegic, and he sits on a deck chair. And now I thought, I'm going to go do that. So on my holiday, I had a year of bad pressure marks and things like that. I thought, oh, this is going to be risky, but stuff it. I'm going to do it. So we got my carer, she laid down. It sort of felt like I was on my own adjustable bed at home. I got my cushion, we stuck it on there. I met a couple of guys that were on the cruise. I said, guys, this is what I want to do. Can you guys help me? They said, yeah, no worries. So they picked me up. I laid down, had a cocktail. And at the end of the night, I shouted them a couple of drinks as a thank you. And it was a great afternoon. No skin issues, whatever. So it was just really good. So it was just good to lie on the back of the deck for half an hour overlooking the Pacific Ocean. So it was just unreal. And that's me in Vanuatu having a drink with one of the locals at the pub. Having fun while my friend went scuba diving. So I was just by myself, made my own way back into town. And the next one, yep, we'll play this. Pretty bad. She was a bit stressed out that I might get hit by a car or stuff. So yeah, so you just got to live it. Get in, have a go at it. And the cruise line didn't want me to go into town from Vanuatu because there was no accessible cars or taxis or whatever. Oh well, I'm a registered vehicle. I can go where I want. And she hopped in a taxi. She followed me in. All the locals just was wondering why there's a white guy in a wheelchair driving down the middle of the road. And it only took me 15-20 minutes to get there. So it was well worth it. I got some fruit at the local markets, and the ladies just couldn't believe I was sitting there eating a banana. I looked like a prize monkey. But they loved it. It was great. It was awesome. I got stories to tell. I reckon just get in there, have a go at it, and that's all I can recommend is make the most of your life and yeah, have a go. So I'm not sure if people got time to go do my 20 minutes. I'm all good. There you go. Any more questions? Or if you want to ask questions at the end, feel free. And I've got some little bits of equipment we can have a chat about after as well. No worries. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Lindsay.
No worries.
There's something about your story there that makes me think that most of your activity centres around drinking.
No.
Is that right?
Maybe sometimes.
Sometimes.
We're in Aussies, right?
Yep. Okay, thank you for that presentation.
You're right.